I hear the call for us to get back to our ancestral ways, to get back to the ways that were lost when our ancestors lost everything. I hear the hype of our ancestors are alive. They live in our blood. Some say they are in the astral realm or the astral plane. Some among us say they are so powerful. Oh, they're so powerful. And we just need to return to them and return to the ways of our ancestors. And I hear this, and I must say, for a great part of me was also here, or is here. But we are not addressing, or rather, let me put it like this. Have we fully thought this out? What do we mean when we say, let us all return back to the ways of our ancestors? Then the black man or the black race will have power again. They'll be able to self-navigate once they're there. Say tomorrow we wake up and we've all accepted our ancestors. We've all if you found yourself married only like with a white wedding, you've also done the traditional wedding. The entire shebang, it has all been done. If all of us, like, we are in line. If that were to happen tomorrow, how will that change our immediate environment? This utopia we are chasing, if it happens tomorrow, will there be any change in our lives? Will there be any direct change in the life of umuntu omnyama? Will that change the price of bread? Will that change the price of petrol that just keeps going up? And we don't have an answer for it. Collectively, we just don't have the willpower to say, okay, stop. This is not what we signed up for. What will change? You can ask this question of the Christians as well. If we all became Christian tomorrow, like all accepted Jesus, whether white or black or pink or blue, and well, we are all in tune with that Christian gong song or that Lozi gong, the Kamagu. What if tomorrow we wake up? CERN fired up their particle collider yesterday on July 4th, which is quite interesting because the northern hemisphere, their sun, it's actually at its highest point right now, or approaching its highest point, somewhere there. If we wake up in an alternate universe tomorrow, and all these things that we are blaming as abantu abamnyama for not being able to live in power, not being able to plan and direct our intentions and the desires of our collective desires. If all those things that are being blamed, uzalumbete, you have not done ABCD, for example, or you were born like this, or once we've all gone to the rivers, we've gone to the waterfalls, sageza, saklina, sancinda, senza yonke into. What will that change? It will be very unfortunate for us to get to that place and we have not had this realization yet. In order to survive, or in order to be able to manage or to navigate your natural environment or the world that we are in, you need to understand the world you are in terms of or in the narratives of that day. You need to be able to have a science. You need to be able to have a physics, an understanding of the world based on observations from the natural world around you, based on the cosmologies and the cosmogonies of your ancestors, based on the metaphysical understanding of physics that has been passed down to us by our ancestors. If we were to get to this utopia we are seeing, and we have not laid the groundwork in this, we are in trouble. Because we will all be abantu who are aligned, their chakras are vibrating at the right frequency, or they are spinning at the right frequency, they are open, we are all meditating, we are all, we just this, but we would have not addressed the basics. And what are the basics for Mntu Mnyama in today's world? Like right now, what is the want for Mntu Mnyama, the biggest one? The ability to construct homes anywhere. Construct homes that make sense in the environment that they are in. Construct homes that are self-sufficient. Homes that understand the dynamics of the seasonal changes that happen here in South Africa. Homes built on local solutions, or solutions that come from the ground up, not imported solutions. Not important solutions. For example, like right now, a lot of us use izenke for our roofs. Izenke, when it's hot, yashisa. When it's cold, yaband. That's what I mean by imported solutions. We need solutions from the ground up. We need young minds who are going to go into the science or the understanding of thatch that our ancestors had and recalibrate it or modernize it or make it, or find a way to make it accessible to all of us. Build homes that are able to make use of sunlight during certain times of the year. Build homes that can heat themselves, homes that can cool themselves in the summer. We can't be a people, abantu who have ogogo nabomkhulu, who are studying these arts, the science yesintu, people that can throw lightning, people that can project lightning, abantu abakwazi ukuphosa ivutha, people who can throw fires, that can through fires and actually understand how to play with that mixture or that code in such a way that fire ngeke icimeke. We can't have such knowledge among abantu abamnyama and struggle to heat our homes in winter. We can't have, we should not be okay with this, that ngesintu elders know, or that which we call abathakathi, they know how to play or move or maneuver high potential energy, yet sidlali Eskom right now. We can't be there. And if we were to reach the utopia that people are seeing. Abantu abamnyama bahlangane, and that is the struggle that is facing us. That is the immediate struggle. And if we don't start addressing it now, then there is no hope for us. Then all hope is lost. It's okay to understand kunabantu abamnyama right now who feel that ukubuyela kwindlela zokhokho, as in going back to how they lived, not in the literal sense. In the literal sense, grass huts, animal skins, isibaya here. Even though that is okay, and for any balanced society, you need a certain portion of the population to actually live that life, so that the connection with the soil, the connection with all the energy that is manipulated in the world around us, so that the connection to that knowledge, or the primitive connection to that knowledge, is not lost. We need a certain amount of the population to live that way. A certain amount of the population needs to be hermits. They need to be in the mountains and just live close to nature. And then for in a self-sufficient culture, there also needs to be a certain amount of the population that lives modernity. And there needs to be a balance of this, without modernity imposing over the old ways, or those that have chosen to keep the old ways, those who have chosen to let go of the drapings of today's modernity and go back to that system where they are living, maybe they are walking around in animal skins, without them looking down on the people that are living within modernity, because these two sides of the coin need each other for the human experience. Let's not forget now, yes, collectively there is a beast that we need to face, and actually that beast, it's more within than anything else. Facing the beast within. Yes, there is a beast that we need to collectively face, but we should never forget that there is also the greater context of what is happening. And that greater context is, we come to this plane to learn. How's it? Good, man. We come to this plane to learn. Now, this is another very difficult topic, because spiritualists, they approach impilo from that once you reach a certain awareness in yourself, you live by that premise that you are here on planet Earth for lessons. And then the problem comes now when you have to deal with your immediate reality. You might be suffering. You might be a child that was molested when you were younger. You might be going through molestation as I'm actually saying this. You know, you might not know where your next meal is coming from. You might be in a position where it's been like that for a few weeks now. You have not eaten for a couple of days. Now, in all these possibilities, what does this mean now when we say we are here for lessons? Does that mean now you are here to come and learn pain or experience pain? Are you here to come and learn how to overcome pain or death? When we take this view now into our collective as abantu abamnyama, the struggle of umuntu omnyama, are we to say that then we are here because we are, or rather let me say, we are struggling because that is what we came to learn in this cycle. Is that what we are saying? These discussions leave one with a rather a foul taste in the mouth. And that is why I suppose they say awakening is not a gentle trip. Because once you've asked that question, you might as well ask, when these ancestors that everyone is claiming, they are so powerful, they are so mighty, they live in our blood, we can access to them, they can teach us, they can do this, they can do that. It was the very same ancestors that we were bowing to when we were living in that epoch when we lost everything. We were still bowing to those very same beings that today we are trying to say, let's go back to. And what are we saying there? What are we saying there? If we were to try and be rational, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Trying to revive something you know very well. It's not something that is metaphorical, or you hear about it that it happened maybe in another planet or in another country. You feel it as a black person that we lost the game. It's not at this point, and we have struggled ever since. We have been dehumanized to a point where the majority of us cannot build our own homes. Something that if you look in the animal kingdom, each and every species has the ability to build a shelter that is going to make sense for your needs where you are living. That is something we don't have as a black race. That is something we are struggling with now. It's a struggle today. It will be a struggle 200 or 1,000 years from today. It will be a struggle if the utopia we are envisioning, if we have it tomorrow, if we wake up in it tomorrow, that will still be the struggle. That we were dehumanized to a point where we cannot even do the basics for ourselves. We cannot do the basics for ourselves. And what are those basics? Building sustainable homes, feeding ourselves, powering those homes, and controlling the temperature in those homes. Basically, setting up the right conditions to be able to raise or rear up the next generations, and then pass that knowledge down to those next generations so that they may expand on it. There are some discussions for us as Abantu Abamnyama right now that we really should not be entertaining. Like, for example, the flat earth debate. As South Africans, our country doesn't even have a space program. Some things are just, we should not even be looking at them. The way I see it, we should not even be looking at robotics, coding, all these electrical things. We should not be even looking at them, because we should all solely be concerned with understanding the basics, because that is what we are not, that is what we don't have. And as long as we cannot be masters of the natural world, around us, we will always have to be slaves in the system. Learning electronics, learning coding, learning engineering, learning all these skills that you sell to the system so that you can get a paycheck to go and do the basics. Building a home, heating that home, cooling that home, providing food for your children, doing the basics. If we have scholars among us, if we have wise ones among us, this is where our concentration should be. Another place our concentration should be at is understanding magnetism and electricity. Because the world that we live in, it runs on electricity and magnetism. And if you don't have a grasp of these skills in today's society, it shows. You struggle. You struggle. Everything is that not insane that we live in a world which runs on magnetism and electricity, but we know nothing about this. As a species, we have no interest in those studies. There's zero interest in understanding those studies as how our ancestors saw it. I'm part of the generation that is realizing rather that we don't necessarily have to live, when we say return, we don't exactly have to mimic each and everything that we did back then. Because to do that would be to set the framework to repeat the same mistakes that we did. What we can learn from, though, is the science. The science that very few of them had access to. So that we may also be able to have an understanding of magnetism and electricity in terms that we can relate to. These are the issues that are facing umuntu omnyama. These are the issues that face umuntu omnyama in a perfect world where we are aligned with ourselves and our true purpose. And this is the same problem that we have in the current state that we are in.